here in Medjugorje and I'm with Father. What's your name?
Brendan Kilcoyne,
Where are you from?
Diocese of Tuam in Ireland. I work in Ball in County Mayo.
Oh, wow. And you said how many times you came to Medjugorje?
I think this is my 7th.
Why do you come back all the time?
I came originally in 2015, a bit reluctantly, persuaded by parishioners, Michael and Mary Mulrine, who used to organise tours out here and are very faithful to Medjugorje.
Yeah.
And they persuaded me to give it a chance, and I was deeply impressed.
Why? What happened?
Nothing dramatic. I envy people who have dramatic experiences. I don't. I was deeply impressed at the kind of the kind of energy, the dynamic that there was around the church, around the parish church, in the confessional, in the masses. Everyone talks about the mountain, but I come from mountains, so the mountain wasn't new. I live near Croagh-Patrick, but the whole thing around the church impressed me profoundly, and I kept coming, and I have never been disappointed.
Is it for you a bit? For me, it's like a model parish of the Catholic faith.
Well, there you go. There you go. And it's a kind of super parish.
Yeah.
And it's a real place of it's a place of recharging and renewal.
For you as a priest as well?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think priests get a great deal from Medjugorje, but I think also it's because the dynamic between the priest and the people is very evident here, where the priests slip very easily into their proper priestly role of the sacraments and preaching, and the whole thing is just organized brilliantly. So when you come here, you just you get your badge, and this entitles you to function as a priest anywhere in the parish. And you just get on with it, and you don't have to worry about anything. Though everything's organized, and it works like clockwork. I'm deeply impressed by that. I'm very, very impressed as well, because I have a background in diocesan administration back further in my life, and I'm very impressed at how obedient it has always been to the conditions laid down for it by the episcopate. I know that there has been a difference historically, but you'll have that. That's not the point. The point was that in terms of the administrative regulations laid down, they were impeccably followed. And I mean, the whole issue of safeguarding is so important now, and confidence tricksters can pretend to be priests, but when you come here, you go with your ID to the parish office, you receive a new ID, the thing is very carefully managed so the faithful are protected. And I think, and they get to deal with priests who are in good standing. I think it's a wonderful modern experience of a very ancient faith.
Yes, unbelievable, Father, what you say. And you feel also as a priest validated because a lot of people go to confession?
Yes, and I think again, I wouldn't be inclined to be dramatic about it, in the sense that you know the experience varies for people. Some people are going regularly and they go when they're here, but others go to confession here who haven't been to confession for perhaps 20 years or more, and I don't know if we realize how seismic that is in a life.
Can you explain a bit how it is for you as a priest?
None of them can fully explain it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people whose lives were completely changed here, and they just shrug if you press them.
Yeah.
They can explain what happened right up to before, and they can explain what happened afterwards. But it's not that they were hit by lightning.
Yeah.
In the case of one very good friend of mine, an exceptional young man who's doing fantastic work for the church in Ireland, he was in terrible trouble. He spent 2 or 3 days drinking when he came here, and then went up the mountain, I think more than anything just to get people off his back.
Yeah.
Went up the mountain, came back down the mountain, completely changed.
Wow.
And he said the only thing that he could explain was that he experienced on the mountain a sense of being unconditionally loved. And an outstanding Irish lay apostle, Paul Galvin, who spoke to us last night, said exactly the same thing.
Happened to me the same.
There you go. That experience of unconditional love. Yeah.
And to be seen.
Yes. Yes, it's a place of prayer. It's a place of mystical experience.
Yeah.
I think of it as the Wild West of the church. It's not fully approved, but it's not disapproved of.
Yeah.
The Holy Father said good things about it, but he grumbled, which is good. Church is a family.
Yes.
He's a father.
Exactly.
You know, and I think the church is starting to have more and more confidence in Medjugorje. It has had huge influence in the church already. I'm fascinated by the effect on men.
Explain.
But this is just a theory. I don't think men find. I think women understand religion better.
Yes.
I think it has to do with childbearing. That's even if the woman is not friendly to the church. She still gets it.
Yeah.
Now that can make a female adversary more formidable because she understands you. I don't know that men clue in that naturally or quickly, but if a man does, he can be remarkable. And men have found something here, and I noticed that 30 years ago, hearing men talk about, hearing,
30 years ago.
in 1987 or 88, I was teaching in a school,
Yeah.
and a young workman who was painting the room I was in asked to borrow a book from my shelf, which was called the Ratzinger Report. I didn't expect him to be borrowing a book on Ratzinger. He gave it back a few days later, and he said, he has his finger on the pulse, that guy. And I asked more. He had been to Medjugorje. I had only heard of Medjugorje. He had been. And he said it had changed his whole life. And I've heard that from men again and again. I think the relationship between men and Our Lady is very powerful and very natural. Mother-son.
Yeah.
Yeah, every Irish mother spoils her sons.
Yeah.
It's probably the same.
Jewish mother. She got the sons. Jewish mother and the son.
Same in every country, I think, but especially a Jewish mother. Jewish people I've heard talk, they die laughing if you said that.
Yes.
Because Jewish mothers are formidable.
Yeah, I know.
but I think that dynamic is in it, and I think there's an especial retreat, a sanctuary, and a recharging point available for men here. I hope the women don't mind my saying that. I don't think they will,
No,
because they know it comes harder to men.
They get a man home.
They get a man who says prayers.
Yes. Who comes more loving, who
Yes.
is more living from the heart, as Our Lady asked.
Yes.
And especially, I think Our Lady knows how to cope in these times. The picture of manhood is destroyed
Yes.
by the currents of society
Yes.
for a reason, because man should be the shepherd of the family,
Yeah.
and the other side knows how to destroy.
Yes. And the man should also be a serious player.
Yeah.
He should be a person of great dignity, a family man, father of a family, not some little boy who's never grown up.
Yes.
You know,
That's
just
what I learned here myself
Yeah.
as well. You
Yeah.
have to grow up as a man.
I mean, what man wants his son to look at him and see just an aging teenager?
Yes.
You know, the son wants to see a father.
Yeah.
know?
How beautiful how you say. And how would you describe that, Father? How is a real man?
I think a real man. You'd have to go into the scriptures. A real man ultimately loves his children and his spouse spiritually, because he imitates the fatherhood of God, and the fatherhood of God is not biological; it is spiritual. God is pure spirit. So biological fatherhood is a tremendous thing, but if it's not followed up with spiritual fatherhood, it's like a ruined building. It's beautiful, but it's poignant and sad and tragic.
That's what we see these days. No?
Yes, I'm afraid we see a lot of it. And young men are very dangerous if they're not properly raised.
Yes.
And it's being left to women. They're doing heroic jobs, but it's not possible to simply produce those two things in one person, any more than a man can be a mother. I really think as a society, the whole place should come to Medjugorje.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
To experience what happens.
Yes.
And what would you tell we talked about confession. What would you tell people who are scared to go to confession after 30 years?
I would say I would say the only thing to do there is have a few drinks.
That's a good one. That's the Irish advice.
Is to have a few drinks,
Yeah.
shut your eyes and run at it. Just run screaming. grab the first priest you see and demand that he hear your confession. Yeah, I think you just have to get past that hill.
Yeah.
You know, and the more you are afraid of it, the bigger it will get, the less the chance of you're going to confession. Yeah, I mean, I don't mean get drunk, but honestly, if you need a drink, get a drink. Look, just get your courage.
Get your courage.
Toughen up and just bite the bullet.
And what's the beauty of it? Nobody has to be scared of it, no?
No, there's nothing to. Quite the opposite.
Yeah.
It's a tremendous sense of source of strength.
For example, can you explain why?
Well, for a start, it enables you to approach God through a human agent and intermediary, and we are human and physical, and God is very big for us. But this servant in front of us, okay, it gives us that tremendous catalyst of a human listener, you know, which can have a very powerful effect if the priest knows his business, which isn't to say much actually. You know, but to listen carefully, and so for a start you have that, and then secondly, you see, the tragedy of the human condition is that it's done. Forgiveness is there for us, a future is there for us. We're not just servants, we're heirs. We're heirs to a fortune, but we're starving to death outside the bank that holds our money. You know, we're begging in the street outside the bank that holds our account.
Exactly.
You know?
And I think that's the problem. I saw it in my life, that we don't really understand our identity as Christians. We maybe come from broken family, but at Good Friday we are buried, the oldest buried,
that's
and the
right.
newest resurrecting on Sunday. We beloved children.
Yeah.
And we have to know that and experience it. And I think you can experience that in Medjugorje.
Yes. Yes.
And rosary for you, Father? You pray the rosary?
I do. I did since I was a child. Rebelled against it as a child, rediscovered it again as an adult, and came to love it and treasure it.
Why?
I think, for a start, the Marian prayer, because she's the great teacher of prayer. But I think, secondly, it's the repetition, which is tremendously wise. It suits the way our brains operate, and it's good for us. I say the rosary. I also was taught as a young man by a very fine priest to say the Jesus.
So how does the Jesus prayer go?
Yeah, you will see an Orthodox person or an Orthodox priest or monk with the chotki, the little knotted rope, which is like our rosary. It does the same function, and they count off the Jesus prayer, which is simply, Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, or Son of the living God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Have mercy on me, a sinner. I think it's in Greek, eleison me ton amartion.
Wow, more powerful, eh?
Yeah. And it's just so naked and searing.
Yes.
And it's bang, bang. They repeat it.
Beautiful.
And I really think, you know, we're crazy as well.
Yeah.
Not to plunder the Eastern Church.
Yes.
Now, if they hear me say that, they'll say, "Oh, that confirms everything we think about the West." They're going to plunder us. But I mean, I think they would agree to plunder the riches of the Eastern Church. They have a tremendous mystical tradition.
Yes. Also, the Jewish tradition we could tap in. There's so much to tap into.
Of which we cheat ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. You see it as well.
Crazy, because Jesus Christ is a Jew.
Yes.
Our Lady is a Jew.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a Jewish religion.
Amen.
It was a Pius XI that said we are spiritual Semites.
Yes.
Yeah.
How beautiful, Father. And here in Medjugorje, people look for their vocation. How did you find your vocation as a priest?
I found it through my parents, my grandparents. I found it as well through the priests I knew who were exemplary.
And you knew it in your heart at one point. That's it. I want to be a priest.
It took a while. I was also very attracted to the life of a soldier. They're quite close.
Yeah, absolutely.
People often think that that's ridiculous. They're totally different. They're not.
Yeah. So true.
St. Ignatius of Loyola.
Yes, and you learn it.
Yes.
And at the end, why would you tell people, why come to Medjugorje one time?
Why they should come to Medjugorje. I think they should give it a shot, because it's at the very cutting edge of the church in the modern world, and it's mystical. What's happening here is completely Catholic. It's not just brash and modern. It's modern, but it's very ancient at the same time.
Wow.
And it's a profoundly mystical place.
Yeah.
Now, you may have a problem with the ongoing visions, but this is the Catholic Church. We fight about everything. Okay?
Yeah,
we
yes.
suspect everything. This is healthy. It's good. But I think the original visions, for a start, if you make a study of those, I think make a study of those and keep an open mind on the rest. But make a study of those. Look at the beginning. Always look at the beginning. Look at the first 7 days, and look at the way those kids were treated, and how unlikely it is that they made that up just to be well thought of.
Impossible, I would say, no?
Yeah, that was a very frightening situation. We can afford to laugh it off because we haven't lived under communism. We haven't realised what the state can do to you if it decides, if it's all powerful.
Yes.
It can destroy your family, destroy your work, everything. So I mean, I don't think enough respect is given to that, or enough understanding exists of it. But then Bernadette got the same thing in Lourdes. The Fatima children, we tend to forget, were appallingly treated. You know?
Absolutely.
I think we're crazy to write this off. Right? We're crazy to write it off. Personally, I believe in it, but I'm not saying other people have to believe in it. I'm just saying, if you are serious about the Church exercising its apostolate in the modern world, you should come at least once here and have a good look.
Wow, beautiful.
Pray, walk around, listen, watch.
And what can you explain? People don't know what the Eucharist is anymore, the Holy Mass, the center of our faith.
The Eucharist is the ongoing physical presence of Jesus Christ among us. Physical. It is God not just condescending to us, not just blessing us from horseback.
Amen.
It is God actually walking among us in history.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
The Eucharist is a huge charity. It is an incredible act of love and charity towards humanity.
Wow. Thank you so much for that beautiful interview.